going to have one on your quiz tomorrow. First thing you have to do is define your variables. If you want to know how to find them, just look at the question. How much should be invested at each rate? So my variable should be the amount at each rate. So I'm going to say X is the amount at 2%, and Y would be my amount at 4.5%. Then we have to write our equations. You have $5,000. So what's my first equation? Okay, then I talk about the interest. So to do your interest, you take your rate, your principal times your rate times time. We're just doing 1 year, so we don't have to worry about the time. So my principal is my X, my rate was my 2%, so you have 0.02X plus 0.045Y equals 175. Okay, you can do either substitution or elimination at this point. It doesn't matter. If I wanted to eliminate my x's, what would we do? Okay, so we have a negative 0.02x minus 0.02y equals negative 100. So add those together, we get 0.025y equals 75. Divide by 0.025, and what do you get? Once you have y, how do you get x? Plug it in. Either equation, I'll just go with the first one. So x is 2,000. So I need $2,000 at 2% and $3,000 at 4.5%. You had one on the homework last night along these lines, except it had 3 variables. Okay. Any questions over that example? What about the Math Excel we've been working on for the last 2 days? That one's due by 3 o'clock today. Are there any issues with that? Anything you need me to talk about or work out from that assignment? Yes?
I was kind of stuck on the 3 variables to work on, but there were 3 variables.
Okay, so let's just talk about one like that. Let me pull it up. Or do you want me to look at yours, or just?
I mean, I haven't done it yet.
Okay,
So
let's just talk about how to write the equations for that one. So the word problem with 3 variables. Alright, so the problem I have says a person invests $6,900 for 1 year. Part at 4%, part at 11%, and the remainder at 15%. So my x, y, and z are my amounts at each of those percents. So x would be my amount at 4%, y is the amount at 11%, and z is the amount at 15%. Depending on your problem, you might have different percents, but all these are set up essentially the same, just different numbers. So you have $6,900. So what's the first equation? Okay, the annual income from these investments was $805. That's your interest. So what would that look like? .11y plus and that was 805. The amount of money invested at 15%. So the amount at 15% is Z. Was is the same thing as saying equals 300 more than the amounts invested at 4 and 11% combined. So then we have to solve this. So you're going to do substitution and elimination. My suggestion, if you take the first and the third equation, you could subtract over your x and your y here. So in the third equation it'd be negative x minus y plus z equals 300. And that makes it pretty nice because the x and the y cancel. So now you've got your z. Then you can work backwards to find your other variables. So maybe take like the first and second and eliminate the x or the y, and then you can plug in. Okay, so I'm not going to finish it, but I think from there you should be able to. Anything else? Okay. So we have a quiz tomorrow. Today I left for just review day. If you are not done, you need to finish your 7.2 Math Excel. Then there is a 7.1 to 7.2 review Math Excel. There are no word problems in that review. I already did the sample word problem, like what I would put on the quiz. So that Math Excel has your basic substitution and elimination with linear, has some non-linear equations, and it has a couple of 3 variables. So some of them are going to be really short, back to your linear ones, and then the last couple are your 3 variables, so those will be your longer ones. So you have the rest of the class period to work and ask questions.